Am I the asshole for refusing to watch my sister-in-law's child even though she had a meltdown? I, 33 female, have a daughter, 5 female. My sister-in-law, long-term partner of my stepbrother Jake, Tina, 34 female, has a daughter, Cassie, also 5 from a previous relationship. Every summer for the past few years, me, my step-siblings, and our partners have visited our parents at the holiday retreat that they run from anywhere between 4 to 7 weeks. You with me? This past summer, I was there for 6 weeks, and Jake and Tina were there for 4. My husband was there for 3 weeks on and off due to work commitments, and I brought the nanny. During the 3rd week, Jake and Tina were there. My husband and I decided to take my daughter on a day trip. As the nanny had the day off and we were going a little stir-crazy, we told everyone at breakfast, and afterwards when it was just the women at the table finishing our tea, Tina asked if we could take Cassie with us on our day out. I was very confused as to why Tina would ask this, as I have barely any interaction with Cassie. I find some of her behavior very off-putting, and I don't have a natural inclination towards children. And second, Tina and I don't know each other well enough that I'd ever consider asking her such a favor. I said no. It was just a family day out for the 3 of us, and presumed that would be the end of it. But Tina insisted. She begged me to take Cassie and said she hasn't had a break the whole summer. She's overwhelmed and would like to spend time with Jake. I said no again, and Tina asked if my nanny could watch Cassie for a few hours, but I told her it's the nanny's day off. Tina started to get tearful, saying she really thought that as a fellow mother I would understand needing a break, since I have someone employed for that very purpose. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just said goodbye to my mother and started to leave. And as I did, Tina burst into tears. My mother told me to go and she would calm Tina down. When we came back later that evening, Tina wasn't at dinner, and my parents and Jake were babysitting Cassie. My mother said she had reached a compromise with Tina that they would watch Cassie for the evening so Tina could rest. They can't during the day as they are still actively running the retreat. The next day, Tina reappeared and everything was back to normal, though she was noticeably colder towards me, but it didn't bother me. A few days ago, we were discussing all getting together for Christmas in a group chat, and Tina said she was really looking forward to it, but that she hopes we could all be a bit more accommodating with the kids and that it takes a village. I just replied that I wouldn't be needing any accommodations, thanks, and the conversation moved on. My mother says while she understands why I said no, seeing the state Tina was in and the meltdown she had after I left, she would have said yes. She said I don't understand how tough it is because I have so much help. So, am I the asshole? I think there are different levels of assholery that we probably need to cover here. AssCon 1 level is there's no way in hell you should have done that, you're a terrible human being. OP isn't there. There's the AssCon 2 level, which is the you definitely shouldn't have done that, but it doesn't make you a terrible person. And I don't think OP's here either. There's the AssCon 3 level, which is you probably should have approached that differently. And I don't even think OP's there. Let's look at AssCon 4, which is you probably could have approached that differently, and maybe you're an asshole, maybe you're not. I think that's where OP is. OP is at AssCon 4. That's right, we just developed a new scale of assholery that will now be our standard that we live by moving forward. T-shirt incoming. I think OP is in AssCon 4 because she probably could have approached it differently or explained it differently, but I don't think she's an asshole. Here's why. I think the communication style tells us a lot about OP, and it's probably not the kind of person that you're going to have a touchy-feely conversation with, which means it's also not the kind of person that you can expect to understand when you show feelings. If anything, OP probably got uncomfortable with this and just wanted to escape from it. And if sister-in-law knows you well enough to know that about you, I don't think she can expect you to be an asshole for not giving in when she had a breakdown or for taking this emotional load from her, because it's not who OP is. OP isn't wired that way. Am I the asshole for asking my daughter-in-law to stop making social media posts that make me look bad? I have a son, Ryan, male 22. Ryan has a wife, Holly, female 22. They got married and moved in together around 4 months ago after dating for 3 years. I'm really happy for them. There's just one small problem though. Holly has recently started making posts on social media with jokes about how horrible mothers-in-law are all the time. When seeing them, I thought I did something to upset Holly. I asked her about it and she insisted that I hadn't upset her and that she just posts them because she thinks they're funny. I asked Ryan about it, and he said that Holly never seemed upset at me and told me I'm overthinking it. But Holly keeps making these posts. The rest of my family have been asking me if everything is okay between me, Ryan, and Holly because they've seen the post too. The last straw was when Holly made a post about arguments with monsters-in-law. Now everyone in family thinks I argued with Holly when that didn't even happen. I asked Holly about it again, and she said that once again, she just posted it because she thought it was funny, not anything actually personal to me. I told Holly that she's making me uncomfortable and that she's making my family think I'm being horrible to her. Holly said that's not her problem and that people need to learn how to take a joke. Holly just chose right then to be the asshole. I asked Holly to please stop making these posts because people aren't going to interpret them that way. Holly said I'm being unreasonable and told me I can't tell her what to do and said I'm a bossy jerk. Okay, so how old is Holly again? 22. Holly's a little spoiled shit. End of story.
Listen, Holly. Those posts about me aren't very flattering. Would you mind taking them down?
Ugh, whatever. No, it has nothing to do with you. You're being such a bossy bitch.
Holly, I really think you do want to take those down.
You can't tell me what to do.
I don't know what to say now.
Pretty close, right? No, you're not the asshole. I don't know what the solution here is. You might have to work through Ryan, your son, and try to help him sell her on what she's doing being such a childish, shitty thing to do. Peggy, you know, the stories I read about mothers-in-law are not anything to do with you. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter that her grades are more important than her pain right now? Preface. If I come off as callous, it's because I'm trying to be succinct. I, 46 female, have a 16-year-old daughter. In July, she was in a car accident. Most of her injuries were mild. She went to the hospital, but they let her go home after a few days of observation. But even after we got home, she still complained a lot about pain. I was concerned and took her to our GP, but they couldn't find anything wrong. I told her it was probably in her head and in response to the traumatic event, and that she'd be fine in a few days. She stopped complaining about it after that, and everything seemed good. Fast forward to yesterday, and I got an email from her teacher that she's constantly despondent in class and laying her head down and not participating. I was already seeing red from that, and I decided to check on her grades. She turned in multiple assignments late and lost points on them, which is not at all on par with her typical performance. I confronted her about it and she was really quiet at first, like she didn't know what to say. I pushed her on it and she started talking about pain again, which I frankly think is bullshit. She hasn't said a peep about it for 2 months, only when her grades are slipping. We started arguing about it and I said that her grades matter more than her pain. She's a junior this year. It's not the time to be slacking. She's been in her room since, refusing to talk to anyone. She wouldn't even go to school today. I'm at a loss. She's never been so difficult, and I'm questioning whether or not I'm in the right here. Am I the asshole? Edit. I get it. I'm an awful person. I wasn't seeing past the grades and I treated my daughter horribly. Thank you especially to the medical professionals who replied. I had no idea this could be so serious. I've already booked a specialist for 2 weeks from now, earliest appointment, and apologized to my daughter. I know I still have a lot of making up to do. We're going out for ice cream. At least the comments on here led OP to see the error of their ways and start to make it right before we even got to it. Thank goodness, because who knows what's going on with this kid and who knows what kind of injury they have if it's lingering that far. And of course she didn't bring it up because she knew how OP sees it, as a sign of weakness and as of bullshit. If she told us it was bullshit in the post, I guarantee you she told the daughter it was bullshit, if not saying bullshit, through tone and through delivery. And medical professionals getting involved and commenting on here, letting her know that it could be something serious. Alarm bells. I get OP's perspective because kids can pull some shit. And it's tough to know when a kid is pulling shit until the shit has been pulled and it's too late. I understand OP's priority on grades for her daughter, but this wasn't the time for that. There are grades which can affect your life, and there's untreated long-term pain which will affect your life. Her well-being was obviously the priority, and OP eventually saw that and now clearly feels terrible for doing it and has a lot of making up to do way beyond ice cream. Hopefully this ends up being something that is easy to fix and everyone can move on from their lives happy. Hopefully OP delaying on this doesn't cause any additional damage. And if it does, OP's the asshole.